Right, here we go. I am going to try my best to rewire people's brains. We have this thought process about losing weight, okay? And we're going to use this terminology, losing weight, because that's what most people want. Even though, really and truly, in order to look good, you want to lose body fat. But we'll just say lose weight, okay? Cool. Instead of doing all the normal bullshit, right? I want you to just explore an idea with me, just for a moment. Entertain me. Now, I understand I don't look how a lot of people want to look, and that's fine. Then why should you listen to me? I've been doing this for 20 years. Not only have I been in the fitness industry for 20 years, but I've also been coaching people, both online and in person. I've coached thousands of people. I've coached different people to get to different goals. So I'm not just a weight loss guy. I've built performance. I've done strength and conditioning. I've helped people gain weight. I've also helped people in rehab. I've worked with actors, models, athletes, as well as everyday people. I'm also a specialist, not only in weight loss, female fitness, senior fitness, optimum performance training, but I'm also a specialist in fitness nutrition. Why is that important? I understand how to manipulate diet to get someone to look a certain way or to perform a certain way. Within fitness, I know how to manipulate the diet. So there's my CV. Now, the reason I said that is because what I'm about to say is a different way of thinking. So I thought I'd give you my CV beforehand. Yeah? Because I know people watch this video and I get some comments, you look big. I am big, motherfucker. You got a little bit of a belly. I got more than a little bit of belly. But you see, I do more powerlifting, I do strength shit. I like that. I'm Maui, motherfucker. The real Maui, not this bullshit. The Rock version from fucking live action Moana. Different video, different channel. Right. So explore this idea with me. Instead of thinking weight loss, think get strong. I want you to go in the gym and I want you to try to lift as much weight as you can. I want you to pick some exercises, or if your gym has machines, just go and jump on the machines. And I want you to build your strength up. And I want you to chase that number, not the number on the scale. Then I want you to take 10, 20 minutes and I want you to do some kind of cardiovascular training. And we can either choose to do kind of intervals where you do 1 minute on, 1 minute off, or just a steady state thing. But it has to be that you're breathing quite heavy. So it's not that you can talk to someone, but maybe it's kind of like, like that. Okay? That's the kind of breathing I want to hear. That there is going to help to improve your cardiovascular system, which, by the way, the strength training also improves cardiovascular health, but it's also going to improve your lung capacity. And it's going to improve how efficient you are at breathing. Diet. Let's talk about diet here. Diet. I want you to subscribe to the idea of just building muscle. I don't want you to think about losing calories, taking them away. I don't want to think about that. I want you to think about how many grams of protein you should be eating. My advice is 1 gram per pound or 2.2 grams per kg. I want you to literally, by the end of the day, for you to be able to say, I've eaten that amount of protein. How you get that amount of protein, I don't give a fuck. Get it. I'm giving you the blueprint. However you get it, okay? Personally, my advice and what I tell almost every single one of my clients is, if you want simplicity, because if we subscribe to the idea that everyone's fucking lazy, yeah? No one wants to change. It's difficult to change. This, all of this, yeah? So if you were to buy a protein powder and I were to say to you, I want you to take either 1 or 2 scoops in a shaker with either water or milk. And I want you to do that minimum of twice a day, yeah? Do you think you can do that? It should be yes. You should be saying yes, right? Because it's a fast and convenient way of getting 20 to 40 grams per shake, yeah? Which means in a day, already, you're going to be getting 40 to 80 grams more than what you've been doing before. I don't want you to change anything with your diet. You eat exactly the fucking same. The only difference is I want you to get the amount of protein that is required. And I can tell you now what's going to happen. Automatically, you will start to feel more satiated. Automatically, you will start to cut down your portion sizes because you're trying to prioritize your protein. So what you might see is maybe you double up, triple up, whatever that might look like on your plate, the amount of protein. And then you're like, raw, that's a lot. Might have to cut back some of those carbs, right? Might have to cut back on some of the other stuff that's on that plate. Cool. You're cutting back the amount of food that you're naturally eating. What you might also find is your snacks, your snackings, they're gone. The cravings, they're gone. You're not feeling for that shit anymore. You're feeling good. Yeah? Cool. That's what I want you to do. Now, the next step is I want you to focus on liquids, hydration. I don't give a fuck how you do it, but I want you to drink about 3 to 4 liters of liquid. Now, there are many apps around that can track liquids. Yeah? This includes coffee, tea, 0-calorie drinks, low-calorie drinks, or the diet drinks, whatever. Water, of course. All of it. Track it if you have to. But I want 3 to 4 liters, right? People are going to cuss me out for this. But listen, even if you're drinking 4 liters of fucking Pepsi Max, it's a 0-calorie drink. Fucking do it. Why? Because the fact that you're able to increase your hydration, okay, it's a 0-calorie drink. People can be like, oh, sweetness, but there's no problem with it, by the way. It's going to allow you to drink more liquid, which is going to help you in the long run. Again, hydration can help with naturally cutting back the amount that you eat, yeah? It will help in the performance, help you train in the gym, right? Help flush out shit. Note that I'm saying the protein and the liquid, the hydration, is naturally going to make you start to cut things down. But what it's not going to do is make you feel unsatisfied, make you feel like, bro, you know, like I'm cutting back a lot of things, man. I'm missing out some shit, yeah? Okay, the protein, let's talk about the protein again. You're having the protein shakes, but there's also protein yogurts, protein bars, all this kind of stuff where, you know, where you would want maybe a chocolate bar, you can have a protein bar, right? If it gives you that texture, that crunch, and, you know, the physicality of eating something, do it. At least this way you're adding to your protein goal, okay? People will turn around and be like, oh, you shouldn't have the protein bar, just have the fucking chocolate bar, blah. Fuck them. Again, we're exploring my way. You're entertaining me, okay? Cool. So we've got the protein, we've got the hydration. I want you to focus the next 4 weeks on, as I said, building your strength up. The stronger you get, the more muscle you're building. A stronger muscle is a bigger muscle. The protein that you're eating is going to give you adequate amino acids to repair from the workout that you're doing, which will build muscle. The hydration that I'm talking about, well, when you increase your protein can actually dehydrate you. So naturally you have to increase your hydration. That's why I'm saying 3 to 4 liters of liquids, yeah? Because dehydration can lead to tiredness. Another reason I'm telling you to up your liquid is because, you know, you might be one of those people that feel tired a lot. Well, hydration might help you with that, okay? We're building muscle. So you're probably going, Fee, we're talking a lot about building, but I want to lose weight. What's happening? Build the muscle, yeah? Use cardio for your cardiovascular health and the efficiency of your lung capacity you're breathing, along with the high protein diet. As a byproduct of you doing all of that will be fat loss. It will be, okay? Now, the other thing that I'm going to put in here is, this is optional, 10,000 steps. Bullshit number. People talk about 10,000 steps all the time. I suggest 10,000 steps throughout your entire day by calculating with one of these bad boys, yeah? Because what you want to do is you want to increase your activity, your daily activity. If that means you park further away from the supermarket or your office or whatever, and you walk in, it sounds fucking dumb. It is dumb. But that dumb thing might yield you, let's just say, 400 steps. That's 400 steps more than you were doing before. That is going to burn a little bit more calories. I'm not saying that you utilizing 10,000 steps is going to literally make you lose weight overnight. No, but what I'm describing to you right now is a process that I utilize with every single one of my fucking clients, right? And within a realistic time span, a few things happen. They lose body fat. They build muscle. They feel good. They get strong. They build self-confidence, right? And sometimes it's very difficult because they have that idea of losing weight, especially when they're jumping on the scale, yeah? Sometimes the weight goes up at first, yeah? Sometimes the weight doesn't actually do anything. I've got some clients where they've actually gained weight but look leaner and look so much better. This is why I'm trying my best to explain this method. And that's not going in thinking about losing weight. Hold on to that thought. It will happen. But if you go in thinking, I want to build as much muscle as I can, I want to get as strong as I can, I want to make sure I'm getting the right amount of protein, I want to make sure that I'm hydrating myself, okay? I want to make sure that I'm doing what is possible to keep my heart healthy, to pump the blood around the body. Because also the other thing is, blood carries nutrients, yeah? You want to carry those nutrients to the muscles of the body when you damage them in the gym. By you doing all of these things, the byproduct will be fat loss. Because if you put all of those things in place, almost all of the weight that you lose will be body fat. And that is the reason why it's a slower process. But I tell you now, you look fucking better any goddamn day. And this is kind of the conversations that I have with clients, potential clients. And is the reason why I had to, you know, forward plan why you should listen to me and give you that CV at the beginning. Because a lot of people hear me start saying about build muscle and all that, and they just think, yeah, but I don't look like you. And that's fine, because you won't. I look like me because I plan to look like me, and I do what I do to look like me, okay? Think about weight loss in this way, and maybe you might look a lot better, build some good muscle, lose the weight. And here's the thing that a lot of people don't understand, and I almost ended this video without talking about it. Almost guaranteed, every one of my clients who subscribe to this idea and, you know, does things this way, they build their metabolism, right? By building the muscle, right? So by building the muscle, they build the metabolism, which means that they're able to get away with more food. What that means is arbitrary numbers. If you need 2,500 calories to maintain your body weight, and through the high protein diet and all that, naturally we cut away from those calories without tracking. Then, because we're building a metabolism, instead of 2,500, it's something like 2,700, maybe, arbitrary numbers. Yeah, I'm not a scientist, I'm not saying this is definite. 2,700. Now, if you're dieting, that means that you have more of a deficit. And then if you do the usual kind of, weekends I want to be a bit more lenient. Well, you have more calories to be lenient with after, let's say, 8 months of doing things the way I've just suggested, because you've built the metabolism, which allows you to get away with more calories. So at some point, now, for everyone is different. We're individuals. So for some clients, it might be 8 months. For another client, it might be a year and a half. For another client, it might be a year. But at some point, they get to a point where they're able to enjoy some of the foods that they really like, you know, a bit more often. Right? Let's not forget, they're still training and they're still doing all this kind of stuff and whatever, but when they want to enjoy, they can. And the second thing is, at this point, the 8 months or the year and a half or the year or whatever, I get them to eat a lot of food, right? Now, when I say that, it's not biscuits and cookies and donuts and all that. It is protein, basically whole foods, yeah? But it's enjoyable whole foods, right? I'm not saying chicken and broccoli. And almost every time, I always laugh because my clients turn back to me and say, Fee, I can't eat the amount that you're fucking telling me. And I say good, because I know what it's like to starve the fat off of me. And for all my clients, I feel like this is a much enjoyable process. And when I'd lost weight previously, the first time, I'd starved it off. And then after I learned about things like the thermic effect of food and high protein diet and the importance of the hydration and fiber and all this kind of stuff and whatever, and the efficiency of breathing and etc., that's where this came into play. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that you never have to count calories. You might get to a point where, you know, you want to get maybe super lean, or maybe your body type is just saying they got to a point and then you got a sticking point and you might have to count calories. However, I've had some clients where they've never had to count a calorie in their life. But I have had clients where they have to count calories quite earlier on and they have to cut calories to a certain level or whatever. I'm not saying that you never have to do that, but this is a different process and a different thought process to losing weight. I hope all of this makes sense. Feel free to send me a message in whatever way you can, DM, Messenger, I don't know, whatever. However you can get in contact with me, feel free to do that. You can ask questions, yeah? I try to help as many people as I can. That's why I make these videos. And hopefully it makes sense. And hopefully you are someone who takes this on board, and in 6 months' time, hopefully you're sending me a message saying, Fee, I saw that video and I took everything you said on board and this is my transformation. And please, if that's the case, please send it to me, because you guys don't understand how much that means to me. Even if I help one person from this video, it means a lot to me, because I remember what it's like going into the gym and not fucking understanding or knowing anything, and then also having people fucking laugh at what I was trying to do. I hope it makes sense.